Trade agreements. Social unrest. Police brutality. Blood and death. And cultural beauty. I'm Curtis Hoden, and this is my personal journey through the Ukraine 2014. I chose to create this documentary to both inform as well as educate. I wanted to inform the Western thinking viewers about the chain of events that began in 2013 at the Maidan, with peaceful protesting that ended in violence and chaos in February 2014. I also wanted to educate the American viewer. As Americans, we know little or nothing about the Ukraine. There are two in particular unknown cities that come to mind. One is Vinnytsia and the other is Dnepropetrovsk. During World War II, you can see the last known Jewish man being killed within the city of Vinnytsia. Then later on, Vinnytsia became the finishing school of the old KGB. Now cities like Dnepropetrovsk, which interesting enough was the first city I ever flew into when I went to the Ukraine during 2013, was a closed city to the world before 1991. It was a research and development for the USSR military. So I hope you enjoy my documentary called The Voice of the People, Ukraine, 2014. As my initial tour ended, I sat at a coffee shop called Coffee Life. Oddly enough, it reminded me of Starbucks. Looking out the window, a small group of people were marching down Lennon Street. I was surprised to see the group of people holding up signs in support of bringing back communism. Similar to any country and culture, people often reflect on their own past when times appeared to be better. During the prime days of communism, education was free, people had jobs, and an isolationist economy was churning away. Over the next few weeks and months, Ukraine had gone from being on the verge of joining the European Union to violence, protest, and police brutality, ending in a division of the country. While the world media only seems to follow blood and death, there are many sides and opinions to the actions within the Ukraine crisis. Some even feel that the United States has created the violence within Ukraine. To bring you up to date, it was announced March 30th, 2012 that the European Union and the Ukraine government had initiated an agreement that would allow the country of Ukraine to join the European Union. EU leaders stated that the agreement would not be ratified unless the Ukraine government addressed the political and social issues of false democracy as well as corruption within the country. Russia, the ex-leader of the old USSR, had stopped importing all products from the Ukraine. The trade embargo by Russia caused a 10% decline in exports. The Ukraine government asked for a $20 billion loan to offset the EU agreement until talks could be restarted. The EU offered $600 million. Peaceful protesting began November 21st, 2013, after the Ukraine government suspended the agreement with the EU. On February 18th, the protesters in Kiev, the capital of Ukraine, reached a boiling point and finally exploded in bloodshed and destruction of human life. By February 26, 2014, the pro-Russian protectors began to occupy the peninsula called Crimea. The troops ranged from about 6,000 plus. They wore Russian-made fatigues that showed no formal insignia. On March 17, 2014, the Crimea Parliament declared independence from Ukraine. The decision to join the Russian Federation was by a vote of 95%. April 17th, Russian President Vladimir Putin had finally acknowledged Russian involvement in Crimea. My personal journey into the Ukraine began April 4th, 2014. As I left Denver International Airport, after landing in Kyiv, I moved then to Zaporizhzhia and ended back in the capital city. In both cities, I interviewed locals of different economic and educational backgrounds. My first interview was with a woman named Kate. Kate was my guide through the town of Zaporizhzhia. She updated me on local, economical, and political events. Although I had also interviewed 3 others within Zaporizhzhia, they had chosen not to be filmed due to fear of repercussions by political leaders within their town. I devised a set of standard questions to cover social and political issues within the Ukraine to demonstrate the cultural difference between Western thinking Americans and Eastern Europe post communist Ukraine. I would like to introduce you now to Kate and her voice of the Ukraine. All right. Today's April 14th, 2014. We're in the city of Zaporizhia in the lobby of the Hotel and Tourist. And this is my interview with Kate. Kate, tell me a little bit about yourself.
I'm 29. I was born in Zaporozhye. I still live here. I got education in management. Now I have a marriage agency called Rose. And I've been doing this business for like 6 years. And I like it.
Of somebody from Ukraine, would Russia control improve the life of the Ukraine? Would your personal life be better? Do you think it improve your country? And there's no right or wrong answer here.
It's hard to say, but I don't see it this way. I think Ukraine could make life better for itself, make an effort really, stop corrupting everything. But, Russia doesn't have, here in Ukraine we have more freedom of speech. You just have to shut yourself in Russia, that's it. And I don't know, as adding territory to Russia, I don't know how well they're gonna manage it. Well, maybe better than somewhere Yakutsk or anything like that, but still, I don't know. I don't think it will be much better.
Okay. Do you have any specific views on Europe, America? Since how this last November, it appeared that the protesting began when your prior president switched from about to join the European Union. So, what are your views on America, European Union? Would that be better maybe for the Ukraine people, or?
Well, it was a big disappointment when the president didn't sign the agreement because he did such a big promotion that it's going to happen. Everyone was waiting for it and then didn't. So people just blew up. They had enough of this lie, bullshit, and everything. And we've been close to Russia all this time since the Soviet collapse, right? And I don't think it did so much good for us. Yeah, we're close nationalities, we're close by borders, and we understand each other better, but still, Putin just can say something, we have to do it. We don't like that. And I think that it's time for us to change something and to try work with different countries. Because it's been bad last years here, and people had enough. We want something different. We want something better. Sure, it's not like Europe gonna give us all the money we want for nothing. They're gonna want something in return. We understand that, and I understand that it's not gonna be easy right now for next few years, this adjusting period to the new system. But I think, I believe in it better. So, yeah, I think it will be good to try to start working with Europe.
How the protests at the Maidan began. Who really started it? And the reason I ask is because, believe it or not, there are some rumors that America started it. What are your thoughts on all that?
Bullshit. Well, it started by people, Everyone was waiting at the day when the president should have signed the trade agreement with the EU. It was like a few days before he announced that the people started it. Like normal people in Kiev, students and just citizens, they came out on the street to protest because he said he's not going to sign the agreement. And people didn't like it, so they started it. And then they went there again the next day and the next day. And then they realized that they have to, continue doing it. And then it got organized, got sponsored, got this and that. I don't know if it was sponsored by America or Europe, maybe, but I know it was sponsored by local Ukrainians, people, business people who have money, who was okay to, you know, give to protesters, because these business people, they were bothered by president people, you know, president and his people, his family, they call it. They come to you, let's say you have a okay business making nice money, they come to you and they take part of it, like big share, or, you know, if you don't like it and you say no, they just do bad things to you, or your business just get closed. So these people, these business people who were affected like this, or who were approached like this, they didn't like it and they wanted to stop it, so they helped protesters, they sponsored them, they got them equipped and everything, you know. So the system got to change.
Really?
So I know this, how it was like this.
Well, you know, that kind of goes hand in hand with, I'll jump around on this extra questions here. The pay system here. I mean, I know you're independent, you're an entrepreneur. Is everybody paid legally above the boards, paying taxes to the state? How does that work over?
It works easy. Let's say you want to apply for a job. My sister now is like looking for a job, so she changed couples last time, and easy. You know, you go for an interview, and they tell you what to do, what is the job about, and you say, okay, I take it. So you start working. They just pay you, you know, money in your hands.
So they don't have to pay for the taxes
They don't pay anything.
Doesn't that concern you though? Not now, but 20, 30 years from now, when they've not paid enough into your version of Social Security, that it'll be empty, it'll be gone.
Yeah.
And then how are people going to retire on their state pensions? You know, because you guys are an attempt at socialism, capitalism, and
Yeah. I don't know, the system, this banks, everything is bad. Like, let's say now I may think, okay, I want to start saving money for my pension. Yeah, I can't save it, keeping it in my home. I want to put it somewhere so it stays there and it grows. But this country isn't for this. You put money in the bank, you think you're gonna live on percentage, but money just disappears, you know. Yeah, it happened. My friend told me that her parents sold the flat for like, let's say, $50,000. Her father put the money in a bank, thinking, I'm gonna retire soon, this is gonna be my retirement money, I'm gonna live on percentage, yeah, and everything will be cool. But now, the crisis hit, now economy is bad, the bank got bankrupt. He's going to a bank saying, look, the situation is unclear, I want to get my money back, my money. And they say, you didn't know the bank got bankrupt, we closed. We don't have your money. He's like, what? It's like, yeah, I'm sorry, we don't have your money. Well, they're gonna give him some, like half or 1/3 of the money because it's guaranteed by other banks. But this is all he's gonna have. So this is not the country where you can put money in a bank and thinking, I'm gonna be cool now. You have to buy property or something where money is not gonna disappear, because they just disappear here. And yeah, I don't know how it's gonna be about pensions. Yeah, it's bad. Pensioners just survive.
So, how do you feel about the upcoming elections next month, May 25th, 2014? First of all, what are your feelings on them? But second of all, will they happen?
Well, I hope so, yeah. I mean, if Russia doesn't, I don't know, do something really, they are gonna happen. And, well, I hope, yeah, there will be a new president who's gonna be less corrupt or something. I don't think there is even money left to steal in Ukraine. There is no money, so they gotta do something. And well, definitely they're gonna move towards Europe, not towards Russia.
Right.
So I hope there are gonna be positive changes. Well, I think they have to change all the Yanukovych people, the ex-president, because they were stealing from everywhere. they're gonna remove those guys, and those guys who are pro-Russian guys, even if they're from different party, they should change them and put some people who really want, Ukrainian stuff. Ukraine be Ukraine, one thing, not Russia, and so work with this.
What other options would there be?
Who's gonna get elected?
No. What would stop the elections?
Well, I don't know. Russia taking over East, and this is going to be a more important problem probably than getting someone elected. Or I don't know really, but still probably can have elections.
That reminds me. If they don't have elections, who runs your country?
Well, the guy who is in charge now, he's the head of the parliament.
Right.
So
The prime minister?
No, not prime minister. The Rada, the parliament. He's a speaker.
Oh, okay.
He's doing presidential things.
Gotcha. No, and I know who he is. I just I couldn't remember his name.
He looks like a phlegmatic goose.
Yes, he does.
No one's doing really enough. Our government being idiots. I don't know. They have to stop it without making a war, like real one.
Well, you saw they basically took the Crimea without a shot.
Yeah.
And if it works once, why wouldn't it work twice? Because Putin's stance is he's come over to protect the Russian-speaking Ukrainians who are being...
Yeah, his people making all the provocations on the east, like his people came over and saying we're locals, and pretending to be locals and provoking locals as well, saying we want Russia, we want our rights, whatever, we can't speak Russian. I mean, this thing about the language, everyone can speak any language they want to speak. It's never been a problem. But now everyone is telling, it's such a big problem. It's just made up to provoke people.
Well, and you not having a military, we've seen on TV that when these, what they call pro-Russian protectors move into these government facilities in Donetsk or how do you say it? Kharkiv?
No?
Donetsk, Lugansk, and that other town, Kharkiv. You saw that the police, government, Ukraine government military in that building, they just let them come in. Why?
Yeah, I don't know. I think the reason because the head of the army people there is pro-Russian too. They just don't get right orders.
Any departing words? Any last words?
It's not so nice when you go look into it, but people still live their life and have positive outlook for something better to happen.
Well, and for me personally, that's what I found here. And like I said, I added a pretty rigid agenda on this project, but then it's changed because I keep finding a constant that Ukraine is geographically in a place where you've had war, you've been between the Slavics, the Russians, the Germans. But like now with what's happening, people function every day. People are really nice to me. I still see mostly positive here.
I think like Ukrainians learned to live, to survive in really bad conditions, like all these wars, all the starving, whatever been in the history, people got tough and they've been always living in bad conditions, so I think they're kind of used to it.
Yeah.
But,
Well, let's hope things change for the better in the near
yes,
future.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you too.
After the interview, Kate was kind enough to take me on a tour of the town, introduced me to local places and events that had occurred over the past decades, socially and politically. While in Zaporizhzhia, I tried to take in as much art, local culture, and economic history as I could to paint a true picture of the daily life in Zaporizhzhia. Kate helped set up an interview with a friend named Max, who was eager to voice his opinion on the current events within the Ukraine. Here's Max and his interview. Today's April 15th, 2014. Beautiful day outside. We're here at Zaporizhia Hotel and Tourist. I'm here with Max. We're going to do an interview with Max just like we've done with other people. And Max, tell me a little bit about yourself, your age, your background, etc.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Max. I'm from Zaporizhia, we call it here. I'm 25 years of age. Well, I know a little bit English language because we used to learn English in our school, and also I used to work with American companies, and that's why I do understand something about English language. Anyway, I graduated school here in Zaporizhia, but originally I'm from Russia. I was born in Russia in the town which was called back there Leningrad. Right now it is called Saint Petersburg, Sankt Petersburg. Yeah. But when I was a little child, my parents moved in here in Ukraine. So right now I am a Ukrainian citizen, and I really love Ukraine.
What are your views on America and Europe right now?
Well,
in conjunction to what's happening to the Ukraine.
In conjunction to what's happening in Ukraine, I have to say that Europe and America is definitely doing something with Ukraine and doing something to Ukrainian people. I mean, when all things started in Kiev, it was all started on the 30th of December when pro-government military people, they decided to beat the students, and after that a lot of people came to the main square in Kiev, and they just wanted to say that hey guys, why did you do that, and we want to be a part of Europe, not a part of Russia. They decided that alright, we'll beat you too. Well, that's not free, and that's not freedom of speech for Ukrainian people. But what happened next is that most of top American politicians and top of European politicians, they came here to Ukraine and they started to give people some hope that one day they will become a part of Europe, that one day they will be as rich as maybe Europe or maybe America, they will live a great life, and so on. But then Manuel Barroso is some of the top politicians in Europe said that Ukraine will not be a part of Europe, of European Union for at least 10 years, and that's for sure. That's what he said, and I have that information because I have typed a post and news about that. So they gave us hope that someday we will become a better country, and we will be richer, and we will live not under some criminals, but we will live in a free country, and that's what we want, really. That's what we want. That's true. So I think that Europe and America, they are influencing us somehow. It's not bad. I don't think that it's bad. I think that the Russian forces that are from the opposite side of influencing us, they are doing really bad things because they want to build new Soviet Union. They want to have more territories, and it's not good for us, for sure. So we would better go to Europe. We would better go to some freedom from corrupt politicians. We would better go to some freedom of speech, that's what actually people wanted when they originally came to Kiev streets. They started to protest.
Do you have an opinion on why communism failed?
Well, I have to say that I don't really know why, but I think that maybe people wanted more freedom. Maybe people wanted to build businesses. Maybe people wanted not to rely just on one party, on one state, and they want they maybe they want it to be I don't know how to say that. Maybe they wanted just more freedom.
Yeah. Interesting timing. So this week in April, there's been so much action within Ukraine and Russia with what's happened in Donetsk, Lugansk, and stuff like that. But did you see that Russia would like to try Mr. Gorbachev for the failed communism?
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that?
I agree with Gorbachev, who said, "Man, you are idiots. Why it wasn't my decision. It was the call of the time, and we had to do that. Other countries wanted to be separated countries from Soviet Union, and they actually did start to build their independence. So, I think that they are I mean, people in Russia and the politicians in Russia who decided to sue Gorbachev for doing that are just populist, because they will not do that for sure. They will not do that. They just wanted to hear their names in the news, and to hear and to Mr. Putin, to hear them that they are pro-Russians. I think that.
Interesting. And that wasn't a question that I constructed, but it just popped into my head because of all the crazy news this week, and it's an interesting time to be in Ukraine. You know, obviously, I planned this 6 months ago.
It is interesting time for a foreigner being in Ukraine, but for a Ukrainian citizen, we really, not that we are afraid of something, but it is really hard to wake up in the morning, and the first thing we do is watch news. The first thing we think is, oh my God, let there be no forces, let there be no armed conflicts here in Ukraine, because we don't know what will happen tomorrow. Maybe our army will start to defend themselves. Maybe a Russian army who are standing on the border of the Ukraine will intervene into Ukraine, and that is not scary, but it is frustrating for us, and because we just don't know what will happen next.
You know, I'm a foreigner, so I wasn't paying attention to too much. I walked out of the hotel, went to get my rental car, my Skoda. And I started hearing this speaker, and I looked there to the east, and there was hundreds of Ukrainian people with flags. But as I looked over my shoulder, there were 3 guys coming with masks and little baseball bats, and but they had some kind of red insignia stuff on their shoulder. Tell me a little bit about them, what happened, or what you know happened there at the administration building.
Okay. Yesterday or a couple of days ago.
Sunday,
Well, yesterday. No, couple of days, yeah. ago on Sunday. Basically, nothing happens, because there were pro-Ukrainian people, and here in the center of the city, the main. You cannot call it a battlefield, because there wasn't a battle. Was far away from here, not really far away, but some, I don't know, maybe 1 mile or 2 mile down to the Prospect Lenin. It's the main city of the Zaporizhia. They were standing pro-Ukrainian people on one side of the Prospect of the main street, and on the other side there was standing pro-Russian people, and they were just, I don't know, chatting, not really aggressively. But nothing really happened, because here in Zaporozhye we didn't have such forces, we didn't have pro-Russian forces. Because we are more in center of Ukraine, we are not on the border of Russia and Ukraine. Well, these guys who has these labels are also self-defense, but they don't have guns, as far as I understand, because I'm not a part of it. I'm more, I don't know, maybe in the middle of them. I'm not pro-Russian, I'm not pro-Ukrainian, I'm just, I want to live in a great country, and I don't want to fight against, I don't know who, because some of them are just ordinary people, they are not military forces. Well, here in Zaporozhye right now, everything is stable, and everything is not that high aggressive as in Donetsk region.
And that's a good thing, I would think.
Yes.
But so, one last question: what's your prediction of the near future? What do you think Russian forces or Putin's going to choose to do with the Ukraine? Take half the country, take all the country, and then me as an American, so recently Senator Kerry has announced that he's made a threat about sending in military forces, and as I sit in a coffee shop and look around, and similar to America yet different, I would never be able to tell the difference between a Ukraine, a Slavic, whatever. I could not break up the culture, because where you're geographically at, you're such a mix of cultures over the thousands of years that, I've seen blonde hair, blue eyed people, and then all of a sudden I've seen black hair, brown eyed people, black hair, blue eyed. So such a mix. I personally would never be able to tell unless somebody had a flag that says, or some sign that says, "Hey, I'm the bad guy."
I would have to say that foreigners will not be able to understand who is Russian, who is Ukrainian. But as I told you, you would totally understand. You are an American, and you would totally understand that that this guy, just as an example, this guy is from Britain, from Great Britain. He's British because of the accent, because he speaks differently. We can do that too. We speak a little bit different Russian language than people do in Russia, and we understand it by just we hear it. But you are right that the difference is very sleek. Is the difference
Slim.
The difference between us is very little.
Right.
So
Slim.
Yeah, we are just the same people. That's true. And I speak Russian. Russians speak Russian. What's the difference between us? It's government here in Ukraine and governments in Russia. They are different. They have different world views. They want to build some kind of I don't know what they want to build. And my prediction about Ukraine crisis is that everything is going to happen like it happened in Crimea, because the scenario is just the same.
Max, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anything you want to say to the American viewer before we go to the next interview?
Well, American people, once again, I want to say...
And Colorado.
Colorado rocks. Well, I just want to say that people here in Ukraine are intelligent. People here in Ukraine are... we want freedom. We want to live healthy. We want to live just good. I mean, we don't want to fight. We don't want to fight. We don't want a war, and we don't want our people to die. And we don't want Russian forces to be in Ukraine, because Russia is aggressive part. It's not we who. It's not Ukrainian people who intervene in Russia. It's Russia who intervenes in Ukraine. Well, take care.
Thanks, bud. On my last day in Zaporizhzhia, I walked the streets, videoed locals going about their business, as well as kids just being kids. In fact, watching locals interact, one would never know that any type of war or conflict was occurring or even escalating. I took time to record my own conclusions of the week. Today's April 15th, last day of filming in Zaporizhzhia. I'm at one of their historical parks. Their parks are, well, from Colorado, they're very different. This is a larger town. Zaporizhzhia is an industrialized town, was an industrialized town through World War II. So there are many war monuments, and it seems like every time they put a new monument up, it seems to still be a war monument. Everyday life here is just the same as it is in America for the most part. People are just moving on with their business, keeping to themselves for the most part, and that's really it. So, just like that, a couple walking by and just acting normal. Of course, they're curious. They're seeing the camera, and as an American, we do stick out. Our mannerisms are definitely different. These people are, in general, more quiet, more subdued, but they're very friendly. This has been an extremely nice town to me, and I want to thank everybody here for filming. Tanya, Max, Kate, every one of you guys have been great with your interviews and your help with the historical facts. Tanya taking me around 2 days in the rain, and although she was definitely nervous when they were having the protest on Sunday. So I just want to say thanks, and my next stop is back to Kiev, down to the center, interview with Valentina, and then home I am. Before my last interview with a woman named Valentina, I decided to do some formal touring of the historical aspects of Kiev. Even in Kiev, the capital city of the Ukraine, everyday life seemed to be normal as I filmed at Victory Park. Because of the rich cultural, religious history, there are many churches, monasteries, and war memorials to see. I visited places like St. Sophia's Cathedral. The name Sophia is Latin for wisdom. I'd also toured St. Michael's Golden Dome, as well as St. Alexander's Latin Cathedral. Here I met an old man mopping the floor, and by surprise, he spoke English to me. By the time our conversation had ended, he invited me to Mass on Easter Sunday. The artwork on the ceiling of St. Alexander's was amazing. You can see how many religions take such pride in their beliefs. Lavra's monastery played a pivotal role in the local literature, art, medicine, and was my final historical stop in Kiev. The original monks lived in underground caves and built entire cities within the lime walls. There are no cameras or videos allowed within the building. Lavra was founded almost 1,000 years ago, and construction began about 1075 AD, according to the chronicles. We walked the underground caverns by candlelight only. Even today, there are remnants from 1,000 years ago, from underground tombs to fragments from World War II when the Germans occupied the monastery and Russia blew up half the main church to try and kill SS leaders. On my last full day in Kiev, I interviewed Valentina. As I move forward in my questions, listen to Valentina's prediction on the next Ukraine president. And Valentina, introduce yourself to the American viewer and tell me a little bit about your background, your age, your education.
Hello from Ukraine, my name is Valentina. I am 27 old.
What university did you go to? Where did you attend university?
I finish education. I finished the education at the University of name Hetmana. My faculty is law. I'm lawyer.
Okay.
Education in Ukraine, education start cost more higher, and nowadays less and less families
Can afford?
can afford education at university. Sadly, many schools leaves.
Students?
Sadly,
Many students leave?
school.
Oh, school. Okay.
Many school leaves prefer studying in, for example, Poland, Germany, and France.
So they are starting to prefer to go out of country.
Yes, because it's little bit not like expensive like in Ukraine.
Okay.
More poor study and take good education and abroad and
So
have
it's
diploma
hold on.
from,
It's so
from
you're saying
European.
so you're saying it costs less to go out of country for education, and as well as it's potentially better education?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Would Russian control improve life for Ukrainian people? What are your thoughts?
Ukrainian people from generation, from history, always have, it is true, good health, power, intelligence,
Intelligence.
flexible, and I don't think so. I'm not sure. No, I'm sure. For Ukraine, we don't need take some control from Russia. We don't need. We must save our Ukrainian system, Ukrainian opinion, Ukrainian mentality. We have too much reserve for this. We don't need take something from Russia or from something from another political system, because it's our history. It is private, really. And I think we have too much reserve for disbalance, for balance. And I hope smart people come and develop this and say what we have and develop every day more better and better and better. So the Ukraine must have good balance. I hope, I see, and I know it's.
Do you think your people will see an actual change, a positive change? 5 years, 10 years, 20, 50?
Unfortunately, it started from Maidan. When we have very big problem in Maidan, when people started die, and it's very pity because people only think about money. They don't value families. They don't. They don't understand what important things for life. It's have good health, have good family, have good friends, and it must be safe. Many people, most people, just unfortunately only think about material things. Unfortunately, really. But what happened in Maidan? People started change. People start Maidan.
Who started it? America, Russia, Ukraine, government?
Made protest.
Yeah, who started it? Who started it? Some people, so like interviewing Kate and some of these other people, some people think America started it. Some people think it was just because of your prior president went from the
I can't think America start, because when we have very difficult time 2-3 months ago, America helped for us. America first, who and Europe and America will help and security for us, gives some security for Ukraine. I think it is everything inside. It's who might protest. It's a very difficult question, really. It's a very difficult question. I just have only my private opinion, not from other people, a lot of people. I think what I view, what I saw, I think it's a little bit from Russia. Because Russia don't wanted we entered in European Union. Because for Russia, it can be bad, because when we enter European Union, we enter in NATO. For Russia, it's very it's very bad. Russia started freight Ukraine, but from history, Russia and Belarus and Ukraine was Sovietsky Союз
whole, as one,
was
unified,
SSSR was
unified together, whole.
Union, Советский Союз,
Union.
Union. You know from
Yes,
history.
да.
In last president, no, not last, Gorbachev.
Oh, Gorbachev?
Broken this all and separated Ukraine, Belarus, and Russia. But when we was together, every country, every in world afraid us, afraid this European Union, afraid, too much afraid. We was very strong, very. We have everything. When my parents tell me this history, they have everything. They have good political system. They have economical stabilization. They have flat car. They have everything for good life. They don't worry about when finish education, where is it I must work. They know education was free. Nobody don't cost, and they don't worry. They don't think about if people want to marry it. They don't broken head, and where is it child was live was different system.
It's not that way now, though.
But today we have many technology, many information, people too much smart, people building business, house, building, but we lost, I think, something like security. We don't have this because our government don't think about us, unfortunately. And people, if people have some chance, good, they do this. Don't be lost because in Ukraine only this system, unfortunately. But Russia don't want that we enter USA. And what happened today? It is resultation. First, we have Sydney in as like enter future for European Union in Ukraine, and Russia now started take Crimea, crime.
Yeah, Crimea.
Crimea, yes,
Yep.
they take, and I know Russia have planned take Donetsk, take Zaporizhia. He won't take 9 regions. He won't take and enter to Russia. Unfortunately,
Actually,
it is Russian.
okay, so what's this guy's surname?
Its surname
Yeah.
Poroshenko.
Rosendo?
Poroshenko.
Okay, so in the chocolates made here
He
in Ukraine?
He very big businessman. He made all region in Ukraine. He have too much many office, and this office made the chocolate, sweet candy. He very important and very rich man in Ukraine. He made business from. He do this business, for example, maybe 25-6, and many people in Ukraine think about that from the situations what happen in Ukraine. He can be in future president of Ukraine.
I hope you enjoyed my personal journey through the Ukraine 2014. History is still unfolding as turmoil continues both politically as well as economically. I'd like to thank Tanya, Valentina, Max, and special thanks to Kate, for without you, Kate, this documentary wouldn't be possible. In 2015, I'm hoping to do a follow-up within the Ukraine as well as the peninsula Crimea. Thank you for watching my documentary, The Voice of the People, Ukraine, 2014.
was a women task then. Can you believe this? Men were warriors and women had to do the most difficult job. To carry such thing. It's not like open tap for what. Stop it!
Sunny again.
What's that?
Sunny again.
Colorado rocks.
In Ukraine, my name is Valentina. I am 27 old.
Well, yesterday was a travel day, and let's see what even is today. My wonderful Ukraine cell phone, cheap thing too. Thursday, April 17th. So yesterday was a travel day from Zaporizhia to Dnipropetrovsk. Dnipropetrovsk is when I flew into Kiev. I'll give you some updates politically what's happened in the last 24 hours.